up, everybody? Welcome back to Go Dope or Go Home. This is your host, Amber Lane, and I brought a surprise guest for you guys. My special guest, my girl, Faith Williams, is in the house with me. So we're going to get into the topic today. So I got a question for y'all. So do you have an honest and true grip on balancing every aspect in your life? So, Faith, I want to ask you that question.
Do I have a good grip on balance? I'm learning. I'm learning the balance as a new mom of twins. It's all about balance. I have a boy and a girl, so that's balance, trying to figure out, how to, cater to each of their needs, considering that they are different. Mm-hmm. And then also balancing the social life, my work life, my career, self-care. It's so hard, but I'm still learning. My babies are just now 1, and I feel like I'm just now getting somewhat of a grip, but not a complete balance yet. Not a complete balance yet.
Yeah, understandable. Yeah. Well, first, congratulations, mommy.
Thank you.
Now they're 1 year old. Right? They're so absolutely adorable.
Thank you.
I wish y'all could honestly see them. Like, I have a picture or something up here, but they are so super cute.
Thank you.
So, going back to what you said as far as balancing mom life, work life, career, what are a few things that you've noticed, especially now becoming a new mom, that you may have a challenge with as far as balancing, if you don't mind sharing?
Yes, of course. I think the biggest thing for me is balancing being a mom and, self-care. It's very hard to think about yourself when you're also thinking about 2 other beings that depend on you. Yeah. So it's like, okay, when do I find the time for me? When do I get the time to sit down when, I got to feed the babies, I got to cook, I got to clean, I got to do all of this. So when do I just say, okay, it's me time? Mm-hmm. So that's the real hard balance. And I just learned that I can't continue to put it off. I'm going to just do it then. It's like, you just got to do it. You got to find the times and, small moments, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. It's just, it starts as a small practice. And as you get, consistent with it, then I feel like you just get more comfortable with it. Another thing is my social life. It's completely non-existent. I feel like once I had babies, I kind of noticed, how that affected my friendships, how that affected my social life. And of course, I knew it was going to be some changes, but I didn't know it was going to be as drastic as it was. I feel like a lot of people look at it as, oh, I'm being considerate of her situation, which in fact, yes, you are, but it can feel very ostracizing, oh, I'm a mom now and nobody wants to hang out, or how do I reach out to people that I may have not even talked to as much because I'm so busy. And then also too, in the age of social media, I'm not on social media as often as I am. So, a lot of people connect and check in with their friends through social media. So a lot of times if I'm not on social media, I feel like I don't have much of a social life, And then 2, not a lot of people, reaching out. And then a lot of things that I may have done for socialization before, prior to being a mom, it's completely different. I have to make different choices, different decisions. And I might not be able to go out at 12 at night or stay out super late. So those different decisions too. And then finally, career. As soon as I figured out I was going to be a mom, everything kind of changed for me. I had one path of what I thought my life was kind of going to be, how I wanted to set up. God had different plans for me, of course. So it's pivoting through that. And it's okay, what do I want to really do with my life? Because my life is not mine anymore. It's my children. They're in my life. And whatever I do is also going to affect them. It's going to have a direct, effect on them. So career-wise, I'm a stay-at-home mom currently. So I really haven't thought about a lot of the things that, I used to really be thinking about in the same way. I'm looking at it at a different approach. Okay, what can I do to maybe, leave this for my children or create spaces for my children or the future for them. So even looking at my career is completely different because, I wanted to do modeling and be into fashion. And not to say that I can't do that anymore, but I kind of got to look at it in a different way, considering, I'm a mom and I'm trying to, homeschool them and teach them and pour into them. So I'm still learning how to figure it out. And I feel like as they get older, of course, it will be more easier. And I feel like now that they're 1 year old, you know, they're walking now and they're doing different things and they're being more independent. I'm like, okay, I can focus here. I can go do this podcast event. I can go hang out this weekend because now I don't feel so anxious or like, now I feel like I got a grip on it. So those are probably like the biggest things that I struggle with: my self-care, my career, and just my social life, honestly.
So first, I want to commend you because you're a stay-at-home mom,
Yes,
right?
yes,
So
yes.
you're actually teaching them at a very young age. You know, a lot of times because careers and because of jobs, a lot of times the mom and you know
Yeah.
after a certain point they end up going back to work. But I absolutely commend you
Thank
because
you.
you're at home teaching them. And I think one day you posted something on your story, and I was like, they are so smart. Like they weren't even one yet, and I was like, oh my god, like it's just amazing. I feel like your baby started walking a little like early, like you know,
Yeah.
a lot of things that may have taken a while for them to actually grasp and to learn. You're actually at home with them. They're actually getting the basis of everything they need right now
Yes.
because they actually have you at home. So I
Yes.
definitely commend you on
Thank
that for
you.
one.
Thank you.
Also self-care. What you said was very important, honestly, because we get so caught up in, I mean, I'm not a mom, but I can only imagine, you know, trying to fill your shoes in my mind for a moment. As far as self-care, you know, it's important that we take care of ourselves.
Yes.
And now with self-care being such a huge thing in our community now, in our world now, that maybe 10 years ago we really didn't see.
Right.
Even us growing up, we really didn't see a lot of people talk about self-care.
True.
Now that mental health and self-care is such a huge thing, it's very important that you find that time for yourself. Like you said, even if it's 5-10 minutes, even if it's you washing dishes and you praying or whatever your self-care may be, you know, washing your hair, taking that moment and honestly sitting down and conditioning your, you know, enjoying yourself. Is so important.
Very.
I want to ask you about mental health. So, like you said, as far as trying to balance stuff, I know a lot of times when you're trying to balance so much, I know for me, stress levels start going up, mental health starts getting a little shaky because you're trying to balance work, job, kids, dating, whatever. You know, you're trying to balance all these different things, church, wherever. You know, you're only one person, and we have 24 hours in a day. You're trying to maximize what you do in that 24 hours. But at the same time, still take care of yourself.
Yes.
Still make sure you're not in a mind where you're about to go crazy and, you know, do something outlandish. You know what I'm saying? How do you balance that with mental health? And what is your mental health state, if you don't mind being that true?
Yes, I will be extremely transparent in this moment because I feel like it's definitely needed. I feel like we kind of see one side of mommyhood or motherhood, and I'm going to be very honest. After I had them, I did struggle with postpartum depression very bad. I just felt like after I had them, I was running on fumes, and I kind of had like mom anxiety. Like I didn't really want anyone around my babies because my babies were born 4 weeks early. My daughter, she was super small when she was born. She was in the NICU, and my son was super small. So I was just like, I don't want nobody around my babies, but also I'm like, I need people to help me. But I'm like, I don't want to put them at risk. And then just having everything on top of me was a lot. And then I discovered that I was dealing with body dysmorphia, and I didn't know that because after I had the babies, it's almost as if I did not recognize myself. I had gained 60 pounds during the pregnancy. I would avoid mirrors. I didn't want to look at myself. I would look in my closet and be like, those my clothes? I can't put them on. It was like a world that I could not like get back into, like, and it just felt so bad. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I'm constantly, you know, have two babies. So I'm like, oh my God, okay, you're crying here, you're crying there. Like, how am I going to balance this all? And I'm not going to lie, I had a very, very hard time getting it together mentally. And even with me feeling bad, that was a balance that I had to find. Like, everybody expects that as soon as you become a mom, that it's just so rainbows and it's just beautiful all the time. And unfortunately, that's just not the case. It's not. And it's also finding the balance with those feelings. The duties of motherhood, they are hard. And I'm not going to say I don't like being a mother. I love being a mother. I love my babies. But some of the duties of being a motherhood and what it comes with, I don't necessarily like it all the time. And I had to really also be okay with feeling that way because that's a natural thing. Anything that you love, you're not going to like it 100% of the time. Like, that's just not realistic. And I felt like I was putting a lot of unrealistic expectations on myself as a new mom, of twins. I'm like, I got to get it done. I need to get it done. I need to have my house clean. I need to have everything set up. And it's like, Faith, it's not even enough time in the day for you to do that, you know? So literally finding those 5 minutes today to sit down, finding if I have to just sit in the bathroom and cry to make myself feel better, I just had to do that. Or going to a yoga class every now and then, or I just had to start forcing myself to get back into the things that, you know, make me feel good, because for a long time I had removed myself away from it, because it's like my main focus is the babies. Like, I need to be for the babies, but it's like, well, I have to be good in order for them to be good. Like, if I'm not good, then my babies aren't good. So I really noticed that, okay, Faith, you have to take some real steps to really correct this, you know, postpartum depression, to really correct this mental health. Because honestly, postpartum depression, you know, it can stem from a lack of support, hormonal imbalance, and all of that. And not saying that I didn't have support, not saying that at all, but I was just afraid to ask, because also as a new mom, you don't want to hear, oh, you asked for this. You knew what was coming. And I've had that happen to me. So that put me in a space of like, okay, well, then I don't want to talk about it with you, or I don't want to ask for help, because I don't want people to feel like I'm less than, or I'm not capable, or I'm unworthy of being a mom. So that's the balance too. Then too, with social media, you see so many celebrities who have babies and then they snap back instantly. So after I have my baby, I'm like, so when is it going to start snapping back? You know, like, when is it going to happen? So that was the thing, too. That was messing with my mental health. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Like, what am I doing? It's like, Faith, they're celebrities. They have the money. They're getting the snapback right after the procedure. So give yourself grace. Also, to give other people who are outside of you grace, because also they're not fully aware of your situation and what you're going through, because you're also not being that vulnerable. So I learned in this year of being a mom, like, be vulnerable, be open, even in those moments where it may feel embarrassing. I'm not gonna lie, I had some pretty embarrassing moments. I'm like, I don't really want to talk about this. But when I did open up about it and I was talking, that's when I found community. That's when I found people who also related to me, like, no, you're not alone. Like, I went through that too. So I think really the balance of it all is just being open, being honest about it. Like, you're going to have bad days, and it's okay to have those bad days. And just to know that you got to just keep pushing, and you got to be, you know, moving forward. And what I tell myself is, if I show up every day and I do my best and I'm present, I did a good job for that day. Like, I did an amazing job, and that's all I can do. So really just finding those moments of self-care, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, has been helping me, and just consistent. The more consistent that I have been, the more that I feel better. I've also just start dressing myself up more. Like, even if I'm sitting in the house, I'm like, Faith, if you look good, you feel good. So let me put some clothes on. Even I'm just going to sit in the house, let me start dressing myself. I felt like I didn't know how to dress my body type. Well, it was like, okay, Faith, well, you need to learn. Like, you like clothes and you're going to sit around and be sad? No. Dress your beautiful body. Make yourself look beautiful in this space and in this moment. And, you know, that'll also help. So I just really had to start speaking life back into myself to just get my mind in a better space.
And I think what you said was key. Vulnerability. Lord have mercy. Vulnerability and consistency are two very important aspects when you talk about balance. Because you may be balanced today, but tomorrow, if you're not using that same routine that worked, you know, the next day, you're thrown off. Pretty much thrown off, and you got to try to figure out a new system. So I think being vulnerable with yourself, being vulnerable with your community, you know, hey, I need help today. I got too much on my plate. Hey, do you mind doing X, Y, Z? I think that plays a part too, because like you said, a lot of times we're so enclosed in that you don't really want to share what you're dealing with other people. And it's not that person is bad to you, or if they done wrong to you, but it's kind of like, what's mine is mine. Yes. And I want to deal with this by myself, because I really don't know how you're going to look at me after I tell you. Yes. But, you know, once you find those consistent people in your life, you know, like, for example, you and I know, I mean, we go way back, since Lawrence Academy, third grade. So looking at our friendship throughout these many years, it's been consistent for us. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Like, you become a mom. You know, we started work, of course. Like after high school, we started working. Like now you have these different responsibilities. But I think it's important that once you find a good friendship, that you stay consistent in your boundaries. You know what I'm saying? Having those vulnerable moments, saying, hey, I'm trying to balance this. However, I'm going to see you Sunday instead of Saturday. Because I know Saturday we said we was going to do X, Y, and Z, but something came up. You know, it's just always making sure we keep the main thing the main thing. We keep the important things the important things. We keep the important people the important people. Because in this society, it's something new, literally. I was going to say every day, but it's something new every single hour.
Okay,
yes,
so literally.
It's like today, you could be good with somebody, but tomorrow, you know, you're thrown off. So, again, here you go back to your enclosed self because you really don't want to be vulnerable with somebody else. But then it's crazy because God always places those people in your life that's like, where did you come from?
Like, or
you're like, dang, girl, we ain't talked to each other in 3 months. But it's like you come back to exactly where you left off.
Picked up where you left off,
where you left off at. So really. I think those two things, now that you said it, vulnerability and consistency, it's not about doing it one day, okay, it worked. It's honestly, you have to keep that
Keep doing it, yes.
Even if something new adds in, now at this point you have to evaluate and say, okay, what's not important to me anymore?
Yes,
because what's important today may not be important. What was important to us 10 years ago?
It's definitely different now.
It's not important to what you know what I'm saying, because now we have not just lives, but we have other people that are watching us now. You know what I'm saying? When we were younger, we always looked up to somebody, but now it's people looking up to us.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And now with people looking up to us, it's not just people that are younger than you. It's literally everybody. Looking to see, like, you know, and like you said, social media we're influencers. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're not the biggest influencer, you don't have a blue check mark, you may be influencer to somebody because now you're a mom. So somebody's watching you because, I want to see how she balances modeling and how she balances being a mom, how she balances taking care of her business. You know what I'm saying? So now it's so many different aspects when you talk about balancing, but it's important, like you said, the two things, vulnerability and consistency, will get you through. So I want to ask you, in balancing your life, I know we're told, you know, not to be the yes man. However, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just like being grown now where I have to say no.
Yes.
But what is it about saying no that's so hard now? Like it's a challenge for us to be like, no.
I think I think a part of it is rooted in expectation. Like if you're somebody that always shows up for somebody, they're kind of expecting you to be like, oh yeah, if I hit Amber up, she's gonna say yes. And then you internally probably feel that way, like, dang, I do always come through for her. Like, so if I don't, I feel like I'm letting her down and I don't want to do that. But also within that, a no to somebody else is a yes to you. Sometimes you got to say no because
that's a word, girl.
That's
a word.
Yes all the time. It's like, so when are you taking the time to say yes to you? Clearly somebody's getting told no when you're saying yes. And a lot of the times, if you're the yes man, it's you. It's you telling yourself, okay, no, I'm going to put that off. Okay, no, they need me, so I'm going to put that off. But within that, you're being disrespectful to yourself because it's like, if you know you don't want to do it, then why go and do it? Because at that point, it's like you're going against your boundaries. You're going against something that you know you don't want to do. So it's hard. I know for me personally, I didn't really like saying no to people because I didn't want to hurt their feelings. I didn't want to make them feel bad. I didn't want them to feel like, oh, I'm not reliable. They cannot count on me because people love doing that. The one time you say no, they forget about the 100 yeses, the 100 times that you did say yes. So it's kind of that expectation of trying to also hold yourself up to those standards and expectations that people may have for you that you necessarily don't even have for yourself. So I feel like that's a balancing too. Sometimes you have to say no, even when you don't want to say no. And it takes practice. Being a mom, I had to say no to a lot of stuff. Like, no, I can't go out this time. No, I can't do that for you. No, I can't come pick you up. No, I can't give you this money because I'm a mom now. Okay, I got other things that I need to do. And maybe in another facet of my life, I could have been that yes man. But now I have to say no to you because I need to say yes to my children. Yes to me. Yes to my mental health. And it sucks. But when you begin to say no, you begin to see also who is for you and who is not for you. Are you just around because of what I can do for you and for what convenience I bring to your life? Or are you really around because you really want to be around? Because if we're real friends, we're going to have some uncomfortable moments.
Absolutely.
I'm going to have some times where I'm going to have to say no to you. It's going to be some moments where you may have to say no to me. And I just hope that, you know, it's a balance, you know, and you can understand that. So with saying no, you're going to weed some people out and you're going to feel way better about it. Like, I said no, but honestly, you're upset, but I honestly feel good right now. I got peace. I ain't stressed out. I ain't doing nothing. I ain't exerting no extra energy. So I think it's just balancing that expectation of what the person has for you and what you have for yourself, and just not going against what you want to do. If you don't want to do it, don't do it.
Because honestly, I noticed I have a hard time saying no. I do. Still. Like, I feel like I was dealing with the stuff in high school, not want to say no, and I feel like I still deal with it now. Like, I hate saying no. It just me in my spirit, because it depending on who the person is, I don't want to let that person down.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, dang, I don't want to tell you no, even though I got to go to the grocery store because I ain't got no food in my house. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like, come
but
on.
it's like, but you need $50 for the kids. Oh, I'm going to go ahead and cash up you. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just certain things that even like with some experience that I've had, like with jobs and stuff, like, hey, can you go do X, Y, and Z? And it started becoming a much. And I'm just like, I know this is part of it. Like, will I get fired if I say no? Like, you know, it's just, I've always had a hard time telling people no for whatever the case may be. I don't know if it's like my heart is just so huge that no is not inside of it, or but what you just said was good, because a lot of times when you say yes to people, you're really saying no to yourself. You're putting yourself on the back burner and not taking care of you.
Yes.
And then honestly, you know, saying yes to somebody over and over again, that does build stress. That does change your mental health state, because at this point you're just giving so much that you have nothing left on the inside,
and creating a
yourself.
Codependency.
Yeah.
You feel me?
And then you created a culture within your community, because at this point, when you said no, it's like, did you just tell me no? Like,
no.
And I'm girl, like, yeah, I think I just told you. You know what I'm saying? But it's, I don't know. That's something that I have to work on.
And you just said with being grown. I think also too, we're new, not new to being adults, but like we're adults now. Yeah. And when you were younger, you didn't really get a lot of opportunities to be like, no, I don't want to do this. It's just like, if I say do this, you're gonna do it. So I think that also goes down into the culture of parenting too. Like, if you didn't get a chance to kind of express your feelings or say, no, I don't want to do this. No, I don't want to do this when you was a kid, then it's kind of harder to kind of translate that over as an adult, because when did you get a chance to practice that? So now it's like, okay, I'm an adult now. I have to do this thing that I don't really have much practice with. So now I got to put myself in these vulnerable positions. I got to put myself in these positions to say no. So you got to do it, girl. You got to do it.
But at the same time, keeping that respect.
Yes, respectfully.
I'm like,
no,
respectfully. No. I don't want to, respectfully no. Like, you know what I'm saying? Now, like, even tapping into what you said as far as like growing up, now it's just like an age where, I mean, if your mom say, go ahead and say how you feel, the kids just be like, that, and you be like, now when I was that age, I was getting slapped up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, like, at the end of the day, it's about balancing every single thing, you know, saying the no, but using no, because no is not always a bad thing. And no is not always forever. No sometimes just maybe, hey, not right now. You know what I'm saying? No may be seasonal to that person, to whatever, you know, you may be needing to do. But that was good. Saying yes to others is really saying no to yourself.
Yes, and sometimes a no to them is a yes to you.
I love it. I love it. Did y'all write that down? Because I love it. I need that.
Yes, write it down.
Put it in there.
Yeah, because we need to be whole. Like, we are called to live a holistic life, wholly. So that means that we need to find balance in everything. Too much of a good thing can end up being bad, because you don't have the perspective of the other side. So we have to find balance through everything, for real, to be whole.
So I hope y'all write this down, because I think we should leave that right there. I want that to marinate in your spirit, as they say in the church house. I want that to marinate in your soul. So thank you guys so much. Thank you, Faith.
Yes,
for saying it. Of course. Yes. Oh my God, we need to do another one. I don't know if it's gonna be this season or next season, but we need to do another one, because that was so good.
So good. Yes, thank you.
So thank you guys for tuning in. I love you so much. Again, thank you, Faye, for joining me.
Thank you.
I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, or whatever time you're watching this. I hope that you just take what was said and actually apply it to your life, because it's nothing about hearing the conversation. It's actually about applying what you heard. So I love you guys. Go dope or go home.